All right. I believe we can already start because this is about to be something very special. Hey guys, Get Level here. And today you're going to be watching something quite special, quite different from the usual format. Basically, I decided to do this live stream. Yes, it is a live stream for you guys to follow along as I make Twitch overlays. By making Twitch overlays, I mean creating a full graphic design pack for your stream to customize your Twitch channel. Now, the cool thing is that you will be able to follow along if you are present right now. That means if you're in chat right now, you can watch me, ask questions, and I will answer them because I'm going to be going in details. If you're watching this in the future, well, I'm sorry you couldn't make it, but that's fine. You will also be able to get all of the information. There's already people in chat already, so I won't be as interactive as I wish I could be with chat, but I will do my best to answer your questions while we're trying to work, because the goal is to keep it short as we possibly can. So I will be going kind of fast while trying to give you all the information necessary. Something that I really want to emphasize on is the fact that I'm gonna be using Photoshop. So if you're in the comments trying to type stuff like, hey, how do I do this in Paint? How do I do this in another program? How do I do this in GIMP? I do not know. I mostly use Photoshop for now, at least. Maybe in the future I will downgrade and get GIMP and learn how to use GIMP just so I can provide tutorials for you on a free software. But for now, we're sticking to Photoshop. Anyways, so we are going to start. I will not have my camera on just so you can see everything that's happening and so that I don't accidentally block the view. So yeah, we're about to start. I'm just gonna turn off this camera. Ooh, and you're gonna see all of my setup here. Everything seems to be good. I will probably get rid of the low bar. You don't need to see that either. And we're going to open up Photoshop right here. So hi for the people that are in chat right now. Hello. I'm glad you could make it. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's going to be hard for me to not constantly be reading chat, but we'll do it. I just like the price of GIMP. Okay, people in chat are telling me that they like the price of GIMP. When do you do this in the future? Because I switched off my PC. Okay. So I'm going to be reading chat from my phone. This is Photoshop, so we will be using Photoshop CS6 because that's the only Photoshop I have currently installed on this machine, this computer right now. So when it comes to making Twitch overlays, as I said, we're going to go over the whole graphics pack for a Twitch streamer. So I'm going to open up a file and we're just going to plan out what we want to do. Basically. Okay, so let me get the text tool. So the tutorial hasn't really started yet, if we can call that a tutorial. I'm just gonna list all of the elements that we're going to need in order to have a fully customized Twitch channel. So the first thing we will need is an avatar, and we're not gonna do them in that order because I do already have a workflow. So we're gonna need an avatar. Also, like this, my formatting is completely off on this thing. Put it auto. We're gonna need an avatar. If you want to call it profile pic, you can call it profile pic. Where did I get this? Oh, there you go. Oh, it's the same thing. Oh, I just don't have the slash. Okay. Avatar, you're gonna want a banner. Okay, you're going to want an offline image. So we're going really the basic stuff that you can directly upload onto Twitch when you're starting off. We're gonna do panels, if I can write properly. Panel will take two. There we go. This is just going to be a typo edition of this Photoshop tutorial. I'm going to be back. So after panels, what else do we have? So offline image, banner, panels. Now technically we have everything that we need to upload to Twitch if we're not counting emotes, because I'm not gonna go through emotes. It's a whole different thing. Now we can go to stuff that will be in your broadcasting software. I strongly advise you using Streamlabs OBS. I also strongly advise you to use my affiliate link to download and install it. Anyway, so the thing that I showed, for example, for this stream when we first started is, of course, starting soon. We could just put like intermission screens, but I want to show everything. Starting soon. Be right back for one when you want to take a break. And there's the ending stream. Now, I am not a huge fan of the ending stream. I know that I have it in all of my overlay packs because you guys asked for them. And most of when I used to do freelance work, most of my clients, they wanted that ending stream. They really wanted to show an intermission screen at the end of their stream. I am against that if I'm giving you an advice as a streamer, because ending stream screens or credit scenes are cool, but they make people leave. Basically, people will leave your stream when they see those screens. It lets them know that there is no more content to watch. Oh, I messed up. Yeah, thank you. So I'm reading chat. Like, well, I guess like this is also why doing this live is good. So you guys can catch up on my mistakes. Okay. What was I saying? So the ending stream screen is not necessary because it's gonna make people leave, and usually at the end of a stream something that is very important to do is to host other streamers, but this video is not about it, so I'm still gonna show you how to do it. Basically, if you put a credit scene or an ending stream screen at the end of your stream, you will lose people and you will host for less viewers than you could have. So yeah, my advice is to not use those, but I'll still show you how to do them. Okay. So, the question I get so many times is really, how do I make overlays? And this is not a very, very smart question because it's usually all you have to know is the dimensions. And if you upload your stuff to the right dimensions, everything is fine. That's all you need to know. How do I make overlays in Photoshop? I do whatever I want in a canvas that will be the size of the overlay I want. Same thing for the profile picture, the banner, the panels, etc. So there are no answers to how do I make them. Well, you use an editing software and then you just export them at the right size. And fun fact is, even if you don't export them at the right size, most of the things that you can upload directly to Twitch, you can crop them. So you don't even have to do that, right? So I'm gonna show you my whole process when it comes to taking inspiration and stuff like that, and we'll get that. Millie Rojas, hello from Peru. We got people from Peru watching. Let me read chat for a second. What is a good use for the ending stream? Do people just sit idle for 5 minutes? Yeah, as I was saying, it's not a good thing. Okay, so inspiration wise, I think I'm gonna turn the music down a little bit. Let me know if everything sounds good, because I'm not going to be editing this. Oh, actually, music seemed to be fine. You guys are still here. Okay, so a tool that I really love to use is Photoshop, not Photoshop, Google. So to keep it simple, there are many graphic design trends, and there are many graphic design styles. And you have to pretty much figure out which type of style you want to go for. Do you want to go for that very, very gamer advanced splash color with blurry background style? Do you want to go to that very esports looking style that is similar to like any other sports, like NFL logos and stuff like that, if you're going for your logo? Or do you want something very classy? Then you can go to fashion graphic design. Or do you want something like flat design, very UI based? Today, in order to keep everything as simple as possible, we are going, Kitani, I see you in chat. We are going to base our inspiration in, it's going to be based off UI. So I'm going to type something like, I don't know, futuristic UI. And I'm going to type okay. And I'm going to go to Google Image. And I'm going to scroll down. And this is where I'm basically going to get my inspiration from. I'm going to look around and see, hey, like, what is interesting? What graphic elements can I use for my overlay? Actually, I'm really getting HUDs. I don't want any HUDs. I really just want UI. We're not futuristic. Let's go for something like colorful. User interface. Okay, so this user interface is usually like app design. You will get a lot of graphic design from app design. Those are good. I really love using those because it's a good indicator. It's a good indicator because UIs will try to adapt to the current trend. That means if I showed you a website from 1998, you will immediately know that, oh, that's a website from 1998 because of the UI of the website. But if I show you something more modern, you will also figure out, oh, that's a modern UI. This looks like something that I could have on my phone because they follow the trends. So as graphic design trends evolve and technology evolve, UI will usually follow these trends. And this is where you can get some pretty good color palettes. Because the thing with UI is that they're specifically designed to be visually appealing and put out as much information as possible. Now, it's not like this is just, I'm giving you a lesson on UIs now, but this is just one of the things that you can use to get inspiration from. I really like I've been a graphic designer for like the past 10 years. So I really like the practical side of stuff. Like I really love for my color palette, my design choices to have a meaning, a reason behind them. So I don't just want to make something that looks cool and that is, I don't know, like that's not readable. That is using a font that people can't distinguish what is written, you know? Someone in chat asked if I have a video for new streamers. I have a whole playlist. I think you can start with my slobs. I even have tutorials on OBS Studio. So check out my channel, check out the playlist mostly, and watch my old videos. Okay, so something like that is pretty cool. I like the colors. So we can do something like that. So we're actually going to copy the image just so we can get the color palette. And here I love starting with the starting soon screen, because usually as soon as you have this one, it really paves the way for the rest. JK Reno, hey, thank you for that donation. I can stick around, stopping by to show some love, and thank you for what you do, from your boy to the Twitch Pope, JK Reno. Thank you so much, JK Reno. I really appreciate it. So we are going to start with a UI. So remember what I said, that all of the elements in that list, all you need to know is the correct dimensions. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Gil, I don't know the correct dimensions. How do I get them? Well, it turns out that if you go to gumroad.com/GaelLevel, you can download a free pack that is essentially a template for the exact dimensions and recommended safe areas and everything right there. So if you get this pack, I'm in edit. So if you get this pack, you basically get everything in here. You will get a file that shows you the size, the recommended size, and also a safe area to put in important information so that it doesn't get blocked by any of the Twitch UI. So this is what we're gonna start. I kind of know them by heart, except for the banner thing. So let's start with the starting soon screen. Okay, so I'm gonna press Control N. I'm gonna be using a lot of shortcuts, but I will try my best to tell you. Hey, Rendino, how's it going? I will try my best to tell you about all of these shortcuts while I press them. I'm pressing tab right now to skip through things. I'm gonna press OK. So I have 300 as my resolution. This is a 1080p canvas, so 1920 by 1080. And when I went to Google, what I did here, just to get this image, I'm not stealing the image. I'm just using it as a reference. So I'm gonna keep that reference right here. I'm going to press Control V to paste it. And this is basically going to serve me as my color palette, because I really like the colors here and everything. So I'm going to go back down here. I'm going to create a new layer. It's so weird because it's my first time basically narrating everything that I'm doing here. So bottom right, click on the little file icon. I'm going to select my paint bucket tool. Basically, I'm going to drop a lot of paint in there, and I'm going to copy this gray by holding Alt, which brings up the color picker. And then, oh, my color picker is set to a specific layer. There we go. Why is it not picking it up? Okay, doesn't matter. We have it now. All right. Boom. So now we have the gray as the background. If you want to make like a rough cut, you can already. I messed up. All right, let's do that again. Okay, that's better. I'm gonna delete this. That's weird. I'm having weird stuff happening already. So if you want to have some sort of a rough cut, you can already type starting soon, because you know that's gonna be your starting soon screen. This is a custom font. We're not going to be using this font, but so right here is the moment basically where you need to decide where you want how you want your design to be laid out. Like, I really like the side designs, but for this one, I'm gonna center it. So to center it, I'm gonna press Control A, and then I'm gonna click up there while having the move tool selected to make sure that this is centered. Now we're gonna look for some sort of font. As I showed before, we want something to be kind of classy but also colorful. Oh no, Control Z. We also want something to be colorful. So when it comes to the font, we're not necessarily gonna go with something bold or anything. We're gonna go with something quite slim. Big Noodle titling is a pretty common font. It's the font used in the Overwatch UI. So let's use this. Okay, I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna double click. So usually I would spend a lot of time figuring out the font, but just for this video's sake, I'm gonna keep it short and not be too perfectionist about my choices. So we're gonna pick something and just go with it, right? So I'm gonna bring up this thing again because I want to select the color. So right here I have my character tab open. If you don't see it, you can go to Window and then here select Character to show it. So I'm gonna click on the color here. So basically this is gonna be my font color. I don't like the darker version. I want the popping. Oop. It's funny how this thing changed. Anyways, there we go. We're gonna have this, and our secondary color is going to be this green. I don't like green. Everyone who knows me knows that I don't like green, but this is like approaching to some sort of turquoise. So I'm just gonna double click on my starting soon to go back to the pen tool, and we're just gonna select that green and see how it looks. We're gonna turn this off. Okay, so far it doesn't look too bad. And guess what, chat? This is the part where you're gonna see how simple you can make it if you choose a style and you stick to it. All right, so we're basically going to be creating a bunch of shapes. That's all we're gonna be doing. So I'm gonna Control D to deselect everything because I pressed Control A before. And we're gonna choose what type of shapes do we really want. I would really like to emphasis on the starting soon with some sort of pentagon or something like that. Or actually, we're gonna create a thing with six sides. That. Okay, Control A, move tool, make sure everything is centered. There are many ways to do everything in Photoshop. I am just showing you the ways that I feel comfortable with. So I'm gonna click on U to go back to the shape creation thing. I'm gonna go in fill, and I'm going to get rid of the fill. So right now I only have this thing. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I do want that white border. I'm gonna keep it thick for now, just so it's very visible. And then we're just gonna create more shapes. Just figure out a way. Something, if you want to like press the easy button when it comes to creating shapes for gaming graphic design, is like go diagonal. If you go diagonal, it's gonna look like, let me show you an example. So I'm gonna create a rectangle. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna get rid of the border. Sorry, I can't just say this. I need to be explicit about my choices. And I'm going to select the color for this one. So of course, we're gonna have this purple pinkish as our main color, and the second color is going to be greenish. So if I was working for a company, for example, this type of design, it's not centered, I know, would be perfectly acceptable. I grouped it up, but that doesn't matter. So that actually looks like a flag. So can you please post the Discord? I can't seem to find it, and I want to join. I will DM me somewhere. DM me on Twitch. I will send it to you after the stream. I don't have the link on me right now. So a design like that wouldn't be too bad if you were working for a company for something more serious, but it lacks the futuristic aspect that gamers would really want. So go diagonal. Diagonal is the way to the future, basically. So we're gonna go here, select both of those. I'm gonna press Control T to open up my free transform tool. I have my, oh no, I don't. Okay, never mind. I thought I had my everything selected. Anyways, so we're gonna go to a corner and drag it. And if you can make things align the best of your abilities, do it. On this shape, I'm gonna hold shift so that it gives me precise measures. So right now it's 15 degrees. Right now it's 30 degrees. Right now it's 45, 60, 75, 90. It appears that the lines here of our shape, or wait, what was it? 30 degrees. So we're gonna keep it at 30 degrees. Every diagonal line, we're gonna try our best to keep it at 30 degrees from now on. Now that looks bad, I know, but don't worry. Now we're gonna drag those to the corners, just like that. And technically, if we're going for something very minimalistic, we already have a starting soon screen, right? I'm not satisfied with it, so we're gonna play around a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna read chat real quick. Boy, I watch you tip 5-step tips. I have started a small amount of growth right now. Thanks a lot. You're welcome, Lunacy. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. So something that I like to do is duplicate and basically scale up some shapes. So we have the shape right now that is behind the starting soon. So I'm gonna duplicate this by holding Alt in the layer panel. Holding Alt, dragging down or dragging up is just gonna create a new layer, but like just duplicate the layer basically. So I'm gonna do this and the same thing, and I'm gonna do it again. And you guessed it, I'm going to color those with the colors of the colors that we predetermined. Click here, that one, and then we'll decide which color we prefer. Up, and then the two colors, recently used colors, they're gonna be here, so it's gonna be easily accessible. So I can click on here, and now what I can do is you can create mask by pressing M. As you can see, you can rectangle, mask, the elliptical, single row, blah blah blah. For example, now I want to create a mask where these don't intersect with my logo because it's not readable. I have my purple on, I have my pink on pink and my green on green. This is bad. This is bad graphic design, right? Why are you streaming in 480p? Because my internet sucks. So what I'm gonna do is actually create a shape because that's gonna be easier for me to center and place around, and then from that shape we're gonna create a selection that will create a mask. If that made sense. So let me just create a rectangle that is roughly the size of what I want this to be. Obviously, we could just create a shape and like place it behind here, and this wouldn't look too bad, right? But that's not what I want to do right now. So I'm gonna turn off this. Well, actually, I'm gonna turn it on. Control A to select everything and center your current layer. When it comes to center your current layer based on your whole canvas, basically. So it's going to be placed in this middle of your canvas. So I'm going to click back on that. So I'm not going to use this rectangle. As I said, I'm going to hold control and click on the icon of my layer. So if I click on the layer, it's not going to do anything, but on the icon, and this case is a shape icon, I'm going to click on it, and that's going to create a selection around this layer. So now what I'm going to do is find the right polygons. You can test them if you're not sure, because I don't want to touch the white one. So it's going to be polygon 1 copy, polygon 1 copy 2. You should be naming your layers. I'm not going to, because I don't usually do that. It's a very messy workflow. I don't recommend it though, but it's gonna help us when it comes to timing. So it almost looks like a sliced cube behind the center text. Oh, does it? Oh, it does actually. Wow, that is pretty. I didn't even realize that. That's pretty cool. Anyways, so now that I have the selection, I have the polygon that I want to create a mask of. I'm gonna go down here. You're gonna see a white white rectangle with a like hole in the middle with a dark circle, I guess, in the middle, and it's add layer mask. Click on it, and that's gonna create a mask. Now, you have a mask on your layer, and then you have your layer. So there is a difference. So make sure that, like, right now the mask is selected, and right now the layer is selected. They are joined, so if you try to scale, the mask is gonna scale too. I'm gonna select the mask to make sure it's selected, and I'm gonna press Control I to invert the mask, because right now this is what the mask looks like. When it comes to masking in Photoshop and other Adobe programs, keep in mind that white will show and black will hide. That's not what we want to do. We want the outside of this to show. So we're going to invert it so that black becomes white, white becomes black. So Control I, and now this is inverted. Now I could repeat the same step, you know, select my rectangle that is not visible right now, and then create a mask and invert it. Or I can just hold Alt on the mask here and drag it up to the next layer that I want to create a mask out of. Boom. And now we have the design that I actually wanted to do. I really like I really like the idea that it looks like some sort of sliced cube. And I kind of want to play around with that. So let's play around with that. I'm going to go ahead and select the line tool. Select a valid number of technically 2 points. Should be something around, there we go. And we know that it's, what was it, 35 degrees? I don't remember actually. 30 degrees or something like that. So we're gonna try to we should try to make it like 30 degrees, but we don't want to waste like too much time on it. Up. I'm not sure if it was 30 anymore anyways. Was it 30, chat? Now I have a doubt. Okay, so we're just gonna create the line and then we'll just format it, pressing Control T. I'm just gonna test it just to make sure. Yes, it was 30 degrees actually. Okay. Well, that's fine. We can just go here and cheat and pretend that everything is fine. I messed up. Okay, so Control T. I'm just gonna delete this, and now I can create it. So no matter how experienced you are in Photoshop, there's always room for error and what people might call brain farts. It doesn't seem right, but it is actually right, which is so weird. So now instead of clicking and dragging to create stuff again, what I'm just gonna do is duplicate and then play around with flipping this thing. For example, here I have it here. So what I can do, well, I can hold Alt and just do that. Well, something you need to know is that it's like we're creating a logo right now. We're not really making a starting soon screen. Hopefully someone already has this logo, but I figured this is going to be useful because we need a logo for the avatar so it doesn't look too empty. So we're just going to straighten this out and move it up like that. Yes, we can move it up a little bit. That actually I want. So that looks pretty cool. Like I don't usually work like that, honestly, but since you said that, it looks pretty cool. So we didn't completely close it. We just kept that in the middle. We can even add like a circle or anything like that. So okay, now that we have a couple of shapes and we have our starting soon, so the information is here. What we can do is play around with opacity. We can play around with gradients, and we can play around with like bevel and emboss. But this looks mostly like a some sort of flat design, so we're not necessarily gonna go too crazy. So I'm gonna go on my background layer, and I'm just gonna add a gradient overlay. Now there are many ways to add a gradient to an image, but I like using this one because it's non-destructive. So basically, sorry, you click on the FX after. You click on your layer, you select your layer, and you click on this little FX, and then you choose gradient overlay. So it's something that's going to be on top of your layer, but you can turn it off whenever you feel like it. This is what I call non-destructive. If I went in the gradient tool and drew a gradient on top of it, I wouldn't be able to just go back and change the settings. So this is why I like using effects. Let me use this like that and just like turn the opacity down until you find something that you kind of like. I really want everything to be subtle. There we go. So now you have a gradient with, without. Okay, cool. Why don't you use your webcam? Are you guys are asking all the right questions right now about this Photoshop tutorial. I just don't want to accidentally block anything from your view since this is some sort of live tutorial. Okay, now we could be creating more shapes just to make it look better. But I'm not going to. We're going to do something that I love using. I don't love using it, but it's the graphic designer, the gaming graphic designers. I actually don't like the... What do you guys think about this? Not a huge fan. I'm going to keep it. The graphic designer's easy button is what I call it. It's blurry backgrounds. Out of focus backgrounds will make anything look good. Before we do that, though, I do want to add some sort of drop shadow, some sort of way of separating the starting soon from the background. So we're going to click on starting soon. Same thing. Click on the effects, drop shadows. And I want something that is... We can either make it very... like chisel, very... very harsh, right? And then play around with the opacity. I like that, but I think it makes it a little too dark. I'm gonna up the distance. This gives a more realistic feeling, and it gives you the impression that this is kind of floating. I'm gonna turn it down a lot so that it's just subtle. It really brings your eyes into this middle thing. You should add the mask to the 3D box in the middle. I like the fact that it looks like a square though, but we can do that. First of all, I'm gonna I added a bunch of shapes everywhere, and now I'm completely lost. So I think that's my white polygon, and those are my 3 shapes. So I'm gonna get them together, and I'm gonna create a group. I'm gonna call this cube. Yeah, sometimes even I mess up somehow. Even I. Okay, you can add mask to groups, by the way, so you can just drag and drop it. Yeah, we can leave it like that. It's not bad. It really feels like there's this protective thing around it. Something else we could do is duplicate one of those. Which one is this? Okay, that one. I'm gonna duplicate it. I'm gonna get rid of the mask for now. I'm gonna turn it around. I'm going to make it bigger. Now I'm going to add the mask, see what it looks like. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm going to create 2 masks, well, 2 selections around it. And with the bucket tool, I'm going fast. Pressing G for the bucket tool. I'm just going to leave them. So now I have this. I could also, my mask looks a little crazy. Now I can duplicate it again. Control T. Make it bigger. And now I can switch the color. Pressing U to go back to the creation tool, the shape creation tool. And of course, my mask is out of it. You can press, whoops. You can press Alt and click on the mask to see the mask view. Basically, it shows you whatever is showing and whatever is hiding, if you will. All right, now I have a problem at the bottom. I'm going to press G to bring up my paint bucket tool. Just get rid of that. And then press Alt, click on it again. And this doesn't look too bad. So what I was talking about earlier was the easy button for content, well, for gaming, basically. There are some things that you can do to make everything look better. There are 2 easy buttons. One of them is textures. So you can just go on Google and type something like grunge texture. And then once you get there, you can just try to find something that is from a stock footage website. Of course, you don't want to use any copyright things if you're doing it to sell. But otherwise, if it's personal use, it's fine because it's very transformative. Depending on your copyright laws and your country, do not take copyright advice from me. And then here we can like paste it, make it fit here, and then you can play with the blending mode. Say I want to add this, and boom, you have a starting soon screen. Of course, we were going for something slick and very polished, so this doesn't really apply. But then you can just press Control L, having this selected, to just play around with what you want to show and what you want to hide. Like I'm emphasizing on the dark spots here. This is like an easy button, but if you're doing something that is very grungy and very edgy. The second easy button is what I called out of focus items. What I'm going to do right now is basically duplicate everything that's in the middle, except for whatever's in the background here. I'm going to duplicate all of that, and I'm going to blur them out. So from here to, well, we can get rid of, I don't want to get rid of this rectangle. Okay, whatever. So I am, if you're asking, oh, how are you not getting lost with all of this? I am completely lost. Control G. So now I have a duplicate of everything. in this group. I'm going to bring it down towards the bottom. So that's going to be just on top of my background. And now I'm going to blow it up. This actually looks pretty good. Okay. This is not what I wanted to show you, but you could also just do that and then turn the transparency down so that it's barely visible. And you have a design that is a little full. It's more full. You can even add the mask and this would actually look good. Oh, nope. Wrong layer to add the mask to. All right, that's the group. Boom. Then you have that. Okay. Well, this is not very far from what I was actually about to do, but I wanted it to be more spread, basically. So I'm gonna do this. Okay. So one thing that's cool is that you can also add effects to groups, if I remember correctly. So we're gonna keep that transparency down. By the way, it's opacity here near your on top of the layer panel. I'm gonna do this. Since everything is the same degree when it comes to shapes, it's all gonna kind of match. So let's do. But can we blur this? Okay, that's fine. It's fine if we can't blur it. I'm gonna bring up the opacity and I'm gonna merge everything. This is a destructive way of doing this, by the way, but that's fine. All right, I'm gonna delete that second one. Okay, so we're here. When it comes to blur, Gaussian blur is the fastest when it comes to your computer, your system, but lens blur is always the best. If you can get away by using lens blur, always use lens blur because it's a more realistic blur when it comes to making things look out of focus. Although on text, it doesn't look that good. So we're gonna be using Gaussian blur. I actually never used, apparently I've never used it on text like that. But anyways, so this is where you could, actually I'm gonna duplicate this because I want a different type of blur so it looks like they're at different distances. Gaussian blur. Okay. Now I have the second one. We're just gonna place it somewhere else. Oh god, it cut it out. That's not a problem. We're just gonna flip it. So press Ctrl T, free transform tool, flip horizontal. So now it's just gonna look like it's the same thing here, but it's inverted. I actually did not mean to cut all of it. I wanted the full thing, but whatever. So now the one that's more blurry is gonna look like it's more it's way further back. So we're gonna blow it up a little more so that we can clearly see that this is bigger. Well, actually it should be the opposite, but whatever. I need to stop saying whatever in this step-by-step intricate tutorial. Okay, let me turn that down a little bit. Okay, we're gonna turn that down here also. Okay, instead of having a gradient here on the background, what we could have to really put the emphasis in the middle is a gradient overlay, but a circular one. So I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. Basically, this is what I have from left to top right. It's going to be from dark to the light. We want to go here where it says linear, click down and choose radial. We don't want this to be dark, quite the opposite. So right here, we're going to click reverse. Okay. Now we're going to play with the scale to make sure that it's still kind of wide. And now click multiply and turn this down. You don't have to click multiply. Still. Now, something that I personally do is use assets from Google Images, of course. But if you don't want to be using other people's assets, or if you're doing this for a commercial use, you can actually create yours. So I want to add a lens flare here, but I really don't like the Photoshop lens flare. So what we're gonna do is go in Google and type lens flare. Lens flares are not usually, you won't really find lens flare used like that on this type of design, this type of flat design, but I love lens flares. So we are gonna be using lens flare. We're gonna, this is from Shutterstock, so it is a stock footage provider. I'm gonna go here. So since this is light and the background is dark, we're gonna be showing either linear dodge or screen. I like to start with screen so that it's not too invasive. We're gonna make sure that is on top of everything. We're gonna put this like that. Okay, I'm gonna press Control U to bring up my hue and saturation to make the colors match a little more. If you can't find the right color, you can just click here, colorize, and then pick it from the spectrum here. But I do want to put a little effort into this. There we go. So from screen, I'm just gonna put it into add. Right, really. Oh, never mind. I guess we're gonna go back to screen. Now there isn't any real light source here, so it is going to look a little weird. I'm actually debating if I'm not gonna get rid of it altogether. Although like starting soon, not too bad. I'm gonna play around with the levels to bring the darks up. Something you can do in Google is also click on tools and then make everything bigger. I'm gonna try to find a lens flare that I can place outside of, like I can place the source outside of the canvas, basically. Actually, no, this is high-end 3D spot for a nuke. Okay, this is assets too, so we're gonna use it. Green for now. And for things like assets like that are not meant to be purely visible, it's okay if you blow them up a lot, because they're not meant to be that visible anyways. This. Now you can play with the opacity, but without width. It does give us that blue tint that I'm going to try to fight against in a way. Roll Jazz, hey, how's it going? Blue, so I actually want it to be. We're gonna turn that down. Okay, so now for those shapes that are on top here, I kind of want to do something, but I'm not sure what. So what I'm gonna do is duplicate the cube. This is my background here. I'm gonna duplicate the cube. I like that. Okay, and duplicate the cube again if it lets me. And we're gonna put it there. So now we can add like different types of like shape. You can add more shapes, but this is not bad for a starting soon screen. Honestly, this is not bad. I might even want to add More rectangles. I love your videos so much. They help me out a lot. Lemon OCE. Hey. I'm doing good, Royal. I am doing this live tutorial, live guide, I guess, to kind of help people that already have Photoshop have an idea of how easy it can be to create overlay packs, like to re-customize their whole thing and make everything match. I'm gonna put that behind my background, duplicate it. Okay, so let's say that this is like we're done with this, right? Let's say that we don't want to touch this anymore, although I kind of want to add more stuff here, but that's fine. Like that, there's the little perfectionist side of me that is absolutely not pleased with it, but it looks decent for something that we did in a couple minutes. How long? Oh, there we go. So I spent that much time working on the starting soon because this is going to be like basically the base. Everything else is pretty much going to be copy paste. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to press Control S and I'm going to create a specific folder for it. Maybe outside the scope of this video, but is there a way to animate something like a passing lens flare overlay? I don't do animations in Photoshop. I do, there is like, of course, there is a way to do that, but when it comes to inside of Photoshop, I wouldn't really know because I don't do animations inside of Photoshop. I use After Effects for animation, and there is a plugin called Lens Flare by Video Copilot, and that's what I use, and those are very realistic lens flares that are interactive with the movement. So they behave like a real lens flare would compared to a lens. Anyways, so we're going to create this. I'm going to call this one Tuto or tutorial overlay. All right. So what I like to do when I'm creating overlays like that is to create PSD. And I will call this one starting soon. Technically, since we're going to be using the same thing over and over again, you don't really have to create a new file every single time. But I just like having it and be able to modify it since I usually sell them or give them out for free. But for personal use, you don't have to worry about this. Okay, so I'm going to press Control Shift. Well, I'm going to save. I'm going to press Control Shift S to save as. So that will create a duplicate of this file, basically. And I'm going to call this one BRB. Okay, so now all I have to do is go back to the starting soon text, double click, and type B right back. Now I realized that my text wasn't centered when it comes to the paragraph formatting. I fixed that. I'm going to press Control A, and I'm going to put it in the middle. Once again, I want the word right to be the most recent color. These colors are being affected by everything I put on top of it. So basically so I'm going to turn this off so I can properly select the right back. So if you want a little difference, what you can do is flip these colors in everything, basically, so that it doesn't look like the exact same thing. But for this purpose, like, it's fine. Selected. For example, here, what I'm going to do is change color of this thing, in order to maybe get a similar or close enough green, I'd say. I'm gonna make this thing smaller because it's kind of huge. And that looks all right. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on it. So we have this, be right back. And now we actually already have our be right back. Something I forgot to do is export. And I'm going to show you how you can export stuff. Let me reopen the first one starting soon. And personally, when it comes to PNG and when it comes to this is overlays that are going to be in your broadcasting software. So you can basically export them at the highest file size possible. Like it doesn't matter. So I'm going to press Control Shift S, and I'm going to select PNG. I really like using PNG format. Create a new thing, call it PNG, not ONG. It's hard because I have the mic in front of my face. Starting soon, and then save this. Press OK. Wait for it to be done saving. Do the same thing with the other thing, with the other screen. PNG. And this one is be right back. Keep it be right back. This one is done saving, so I can close it. So now that this one is saved, we're gonna do the same thing for ending stream. Stream ending, actually. Find the text. Stream. Whoops. Ending. Now we formatted the paragraph so that it would start from the middle, so it's already perfectly centered. We don't have to go through that again. I don't know why I insist on having this lens flare thing. It literally serves no purpose, but that's fine. Let's take it off. Let me turn this off so I can select the text color. So you can see how, like, the huge difference that it makes from just adding this overlay on top of it, right? Like just adding the lens flare thing. This is like kind of dull. We had like a pretty kind of a dark gray, and then when you boost it with this in the format, it's linear dodge, and now it pops out, which is great. We don't really see our drop shadow, but it doesn't matter. So we have our stream ending. We can export that. PNG. Save. Save. And now we have 3 intermission screens that are completely done. That's pretty cool, if you ask me. We worked a lot on the first one, but that was going to be basically the template for the rest. So what else can we do? We have to work on the avatar. So let me grab a brush here and mess around with this. So basically we've accomplished this in about an hour. Less than an hour, actually. So avatar, now we already have something that resembles sort of a square shape. Your avatar is always going to be a square or a round. It's basically going to be a 1x1 format. So I'm going to open up a new file, press Control N, and here I'm going to input 1000 pixels by 1000 pixels. If you're working for a client, if you're a graphic designer working for a client, I usually tell you to go 3000 by 3000 because that's a pretty high quality. But here we're doing it for Twitch. You guys know how small the Twitch avatar is going to look. If it's personal use, you're fine. So right now, what I'm going to do is turn off. I'm still on the stream ending. I'm going to turn this off. And just use this as my my background for my avatar. I know behind it still say soon. I showed you how I got them here. So yeah, I know. If you are doing this, you would change them. Anyway, so I'm gonna press Control A to select everything. I'm gonna press Control Shift C to copy everything that is inside the selection, all layers, and then I'm just gonna drop it here. Control hit A. I'm gonna press V for my move tool. I'm just gonna center it and see how it looks. So right now it doesn't look too bad. If you're going like that, just to get the 2 colors in from the background, and you got your avatar. So if we're using the same font, what you could do is put your name in here. But honestly, when it comes to profile pictures, it's really good to have to just have one, like your face in there. So if I were to put my face in there, what I would do is go find a picture of myself somewhere. Now I can fill this with my face. Or I can just place it in the middle and then create some sort of mask. Remember, our shape is a 6-side shape. We can just create, oops. Just make sure that one of the, okay, there we go. I was struggle with this. Okay, we're just gonna center it. And from there, that's where we're gonna create our shape. But in order to see what I'm doing, I'm gonna get this transparent for now. It actually looks pretty fine. So I'm going to select this and then turn it off and then create a mask. So now I can do this. But you could also use this and like play with the blending modes. It's something that I like doing. Oops. Let's play around. I should have started with the beginning. There you go. See, just by going darken as a blending mode, it actually like goes through it and you can still see the shape. So I added my face underneath it, right? And if you want to be picky, you can like create a mask here and go with your brush tool and play around with the mask. If there are places, for example, here I'm getting a little bit of green over my eyes, I don't want it, so I would go with a semi-transparent brush, black brush on the mask, and I would do this. I would also have my hardness set to 0. There you go. Now this is barely visible, and trust me, this won't be visible once you have it as your Twitch avatar thing. I'm gonna select both of them and make them a little bigger, although I could just make this thing bigger so it gets to the, okay, there we go. The center point wasn't the same. I'm just gonna keep it like that. You actually want your face to kind of fill the frame because that's the size it's gonna be once it's on Twitch. So just like that, you got yourself your avatar. I'm gonna save this in my PSD thing. Let me know if I'm going too fast or if I'm really not explaining anything, because my goal is a little guide for people who already kind of know how to use Photoshop. Is this not centered? I feel like it's not centered. Oops. Yeah, like that should be fine. I'm also trying not to make this look perfect either, because I have time constraint, and this is not gonna be the final product. So before saving this as a PNG, I'm actually gonna get rid of my face and I'm going to save it as a PNG. I think I'm gonna make this pack available on my Gumroad page for you guys. So we already have the avatar. I just want the PNG version of avatar. Boom, there we go. Now we have the avatar. We have a first thing that we can actually upload to Twitch. Something that I should have done here is actually the offline image. So we're going to do the same thing we did with the rest. Control-Shift-S. This one offline. I like my offline image to be a little different though. So I usually like drop a gradient over, not a gradient overlay, a grungy texture on top of it, just to let people know that, oh, we're not live right now. What we can do here is maybe add like a black and white filter. It would be cool. I'm going to go on adjustment layers here, and I'm going to select hue and saturation actually. Just turn that down. There is a black and white thing, but I know, but still. I feel like the hue and saturation thing is easier on my computer most of the time. And I just clicked. Okay, so now I'm gonna select the those background shapes because I want them to show. I'm gonna press Control Shift to add more selection to it. And with my bucket tool, I'm gonna drop this in here. I don't know why it's doing that, but fine. Oh, it's still not being affected. Is that what the issue is? I don't know. It's a weird setting. Now that we make sure everything is here, what we can do is, because we are on the offline, we're just gonna type offline. Add the red here. I'm gonna turn this off. And I'm gonna color the off. It's pretty cool. Boom. Offline is offline. We can save the file, Control Shift S, select PNG, and save this as a PNG. There we go. Thank you for the sub. That was a sub, right? Okay, so now we have our offline image. We have our avatar. There's nothing much left. Banner and panels. Now for the banner. Okay, we're gonna do the same principle. I'm just gonna get rid of, where's my hue and saturation? There we go. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna click off this. Now the thing with banners is that banners are only customizable. Basically, there isn't a, like, you can't put just banner in the banner, right? Hey, Martini, how's it going? So you just need that background image as your banner. So we're gonna do the same thing. Control A to select everything. Control Shift C to copy everything inside that everything. Control I, well, not Control I, sorry. Did I mess something up? No, I didn't. Okay. Control O, and this is the part where I told you that I don't remember all of the resolutions. I use a specific resolution for the banner. So this is where I also use my own guide to find where I can put information on the banner. So now I'm just gonna Control V. I'm gonna make sure this is at least kind of centered. There you go. And I'm gonna scroll down. Well, I'm gonna turn down the opacity just to see where my information should be going. So if I put information in here, it will be centered, right? Bottom here, it's not gonna appear. Twitch is going to crop it, right? So just like that, we got ourselves a banner. Now we can Control T to see if we can maybe put it down like that. Okay, just maximum amount of, actually no, that's too much. There you go. And we can already save our banner. Just make sure that you save it in the right place. Did I say I would call this one tutorial overlay? So PSD, I'm just gonna call this one banner. And we're gonna save as a PNG. And now we have a banner. Finally got one of your streams live. Yeah, this is what is quite special. It's not the usual thing that we do on this channel, but I just wanted to make this step-by-step guide, follow along, making a Twitch pack, right? So I know the starting soon is behind, but it's really not a problem because it's not really distinguishable. At this point, the starting soon is just decoration, if you will. Of course, if I was making a pack, I would have changed it, but that's completely fine. Since I'm gonna make this available, though, I might go back after the stream and make sure that everything looks perfect before I make it available. It's going to be free, though. Okay, so we have our banner now. Oops. Okay, that's good. Let me save that. What else is left? We have the panels to make. So cool thing is that you actually can use the same thing to do the panels. So what I'm going to do is Control N to create a new thing. And I know that the maximum, well, the best resolution is 640 by 640. It's double the recommended size so that you get a higher quality. I'm going to press C to open up my crop, and I'm going to wing it and get a height that I like, basically. Okay, here I'm going to press enter. If I still have the thing saved, I can Control V, and now I have my shapes. But what I want to do is have a good balance when it comes to the colors that I want to show, because I do want to have text in there, possibly the same text. So instead of just going like that and having to hide anything, which I could use, honestly, like this is not like a bad panel. I'm going to use it like that, but I'm going to be creating rectangle. Should I create a rectangle around it? Let's try it out. Honestly, most of the time is just trying stuff out, and if you're satisfied with it, well, keep it. If you're not, we'll change it. So even though I told myself I really wanted to show you this without using any external like Hey, I have a quick question. If I use something that other people make, Streamlabs presets, Twitch templates, will people bully me? No. That's my answer. No. People will tell you that they recognize it and they might not take you too seriously, but that's not something that you should worry about too much, honestly. If you're just starting, you don't have money to pay an artist, then you should. I recommend you use those. So I don't really like this. So what I'm going to do is create a new shape. And this one can be bold because we have like, I want those to be bold. There we go. I'll put him at 45. Nice. We're going to duplicate that. Whoops. Not the move tool. And then from here, what you can do is just pull up your type tool and type whatever you're typing. About me. I like the double color thing, so this is why I'm putting like about me instead of just about, just so I can flip the colors. But you don't have to put two words if you have like a double color graphic design. I don't know why the music stopped. Okay. Now we're gonna select this color, the one that's popping the most. And now, when it comes to workflow, you can do the same thing. First of all, I'm gonna save this as panels. So I'm gonna go in PSD and type panels. When it comes to workflow, it's better to save this for the net because you can just type shortcuts and and just get everything going super fast. So what I usually do is go to an old overlay just to keep track of what type of panels do I need. So I'm going to keep this open just so I can see, oh, what's the next one. So right now what I'm going to do is, the problem with saving as and then choosing PNGs is that there's too many steps. Like I would have to Control Shift S, choose PNG, get out of this folder, double click on this folder, and then save. That's too many steps for us. So first thing we're going to do is create a panels folder where all the panels are going to do. If I can type. And we're not going to save it now. We know that it's created. So I'm going to press Control Alt Shift S. And now I'm going to open, this is more of a, yeah, it's a workflow tip, basically. Let me Control A first and make sure that this is centered. Because it might not be. Yeah, it wasn't. Okay. Okay, everything is centered. That's good. Okay, so this is going to go very, very fast. Hey, Tivo, how's it going? This is going to go very fast. So remember, the shortcut for saving for web is Alt Control Shift S. I know that on newer versions of Photoshop, this is no longer a thing, but I don't know if the shortcut still works. So Control Alt Shift S. Boom. So here you're going to select PNG 24 in case you have transparency or whatever, and just press enter. You're going to go find your folder that you just created. Inside of PNG panels. And now we're just going to rename. So renaming is basically going to be the most annoying thing, but that's fine. So about. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate it. You don't have to duplicate it. You can just change it and then save it, but that's kind of destructive. I'm going to open up this. I see artwork. Artwork. Click away, Control Shift Alt thing. Artwork. Okay. Duplicate. Turn off. Look what's next. Commands. You can switch the colors if you really want to make it like look good and all, but it's fine. Cool thing with that is that everything's gonna be looking it's gonna look perfect because you can have the same size on every single panels, the same size on your fonts, so everything will look just completely unified. It's gonna look really good. After command, I get Discord. You can add logos, of course, but since I'm doing this for for anyone who wants to download it, it's not good for me to put logos. Also, logos take a lot of time and they can ruin the whole color scheme. The next one is going to be donate. Something you can also do on Photoshop is script stuff. Basically, you can open up a file, change the color, close the file, and you recorded all of this action, and then you can apply it to a whole folder. So Photoshop works for you without you having to do anything, and then you have a whole new folder with a bunch of new, with the same files but a new color. Next one is Facebook. So I've seen people pay for custom overlays, custom panels, but then you go to their Twitter panel and it's like the huge Twitter logo and it doesn't match anything. Instagram. I'm pressing enter once I press Alt Control Shift S. And just Alt and drag just to duplicate everything. Let me try to go a bit faster. Merge. I'm going to be talking less just so I can go faster. And this part is like very repetitive, and it's usually where I mess up because I don't like repetitive tasks. So I always end up messing up somewhere. Either not not duplicating, not typing the right name. See right there, I almost forgot to save it. Or did I save it? I always I always get super confused when I'm doing repetitive tasks. Where were we? Rules. Schedule. Snapchat. This looks sick. Thank you. Specs. By the way, I'm looking at the Just Cause for panels. Specs. Subscribe. What I could do here is like the panels like donate or subscribe. I could put them in the green turquoise-ish color that we have in order to emphasize them, in order for people to find them easily when they scroll down. Those are also things that you need to think about when creating your panel. Whatever is the most important, you kind of want it to stick out, especially if you're not using icons. If people can't see like the Twitter icon, you might want to put the Twitter colors so that when they scroll down, just to glance at it and they know exactly what it will look like. Website. I clicked the wrong thing. And YouTube. Oops. I'll tell you, I get so confused when I'm doing repetitive tasks. I hate repetitive tasks. YouTube. And then the last one is going to be a blank one, just in case someone else wants to customize it, because I'm going to make those available. And I'm the same with repetitive tasks. Dope work. Thank you. Thank you. And just like that, chat, we just completed the panels. How much time was that? 1 hour and 23 minutes. We did all of that, right? Now I know what you want. I know this isn't over. This isn't everything you need. So let me make sure everything here is saved real quick. And we're going to continue with the stream labels bar and the camera overlay. Okay, so I'm going to create, for this one, I'm going to take liberties. I'm going to go ahead and create a new file with a bunch of things. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I actually like this a lot. I kind of want to replicate it. So I could copy paste it and then just add a mask and add a couple of shapes. Honestly, you can use masks inside of Streamlabs OBS, and I could have a this shape as my camera, but most people don't know how to do it, so we're just gonna steal our own design. So I'm gonna turn off the pretty much everything. Actually, the background, we want a transparent background with those shapes. That's what we need. The two group layers are the background, so we're gonna turn that off. And yeah, you know what, from there we have this selected. So Control A and then Control Shift C so that it copies everything that it sees. And we're just gonna place that here for now. Now, when it comes to webcam overlays, people are asking me, what is the ratio? Asher Vlogs, how's it going? People always ask me, what is the aspect ratio? The thing is, when I make my templates, I don't make them specific to an aspect ratio. I literally just go here and wing it. I know it has to be wider than than longer, basically. Or it can even be a square. Some people use squares as their webcam because they can always crop it, so it doesn't really matter. That being said, if you're doing one for your specific camera and you want everything to be in frame and you don't want to crop your camera, well, you're gonna do a 16:9 aspect ratio. One way you could do this is just by tapping here, entering 1920 by 1080, and now you have a rectangle that is perfectly the size and the ratio of your camera, right? But I don't like using that, especially because this aspect ratio, not everyone has an HD camera, and not everyone wants their camera to be this wide. So I'm gonna trim it down a little bit. There you go. This looks awful for now, but don't worry, change the color so it doesn't look that awful. I like using this. So this is not the final color. This is just an indicator of what is going to be like. This is where the camera is going to be. Where's this dark gray is. Are you going to show how to do the animated starting soon screen and such? Well, I already showed how to do the starting soon screen in Photoshop, but I'm not going to show anything animated today because I'm only showing things in Photoshop. Maybe in the future, I will do a live stream where I show how I do it in Adobe After Effects or even Adobe Premiere. Honestly, you could do animated overlays. I'm going to duplicate this, scale it up just a little bit. Something that I do, which is my personal mistake in my designs, is to make the camera borders a little too wide. If there isn't a reason why your camera overlay is wide, don't make it like, don't make a huge border like that. It's gonna look bad. I just realized it's the same color, so I basically scale it up twice. Let's choose one of our colors. What is going on? Okay, I did not. All right, whatever. Let's scale it up again, I guess. It did not scale up. So now this is a rectangle, so it's not going to be uniform when it comes to the scaling. So yeah, animated screens, maybe I'll do another live stream or maybe I'll record but I actually have a bunch of videos, but not like actual After Effects. After Effects is the same thing. Is once you know the dimensions, you don't need to do anything else. All you have to do is put whatever you want inside of it and type starting soon, and then boom, you have an animated screen. I can maybe teach you about like perfectly looping stuff. That is something that not a lot of people know how to do. Remember the shape that we had? Let me duplicate it and then place it here. So one thing you can do is when you're trying to center stuff, you can't just like, you can do like the Control A because it select your whole canvas, and then with the move tool, press V, you can center it on the screen. But basically what it's doing is centering it on the selection. Since you selected everything, it's gonna be in the center of everything. Now if I press Control and I click on my shape, it's going to actually center it relative to my shape. I can center it like that, right? So now I can do this. And center it. So technically we could be done, but I like putting a little panel here for people to write their names. So let's do that right now. I'm just going to duplicate this and then scale it. Don't pay attention to how horrible the colors are, like that close to each other. So are we gonna put it this color or the other one? Yeah, the other one looks more, a little bit more natural. Let's actually duplicate this again. It's the background shapes and stuff and such. Yo, my main man. Hey, General Principal. Hey, how's it going? The real question is, how do you stay organized and complete a whole scene? What do you mean? I don't like. Oh, you just got here. Oh, I made a bunch of stuff. I finished. Like I'm at the end right now. I'm doing the two last components, if you will. And we're just gonna delete this part. I am working very destructively right now because there's nothing to really save, because we're doing something completely different. Does that look? Doesn't look too good. I don't like it. All right. Let's do something. We're gonna separate this two halves. 3 halves. Okay. I'm gonna select not the last one. I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna press Control Shift J. It should separate it and put it on a different layer. So now if I turn this off, that's a different layer. I'm gonna select that layer again, and I'm gonna have these things on a separate layer. I'm holding Shift to add another thing, and Control Shift J. And now I have 3 different layers. So I can place the top wherever I want. Probably here in the middle. I wonder if we stretch it. So this is what I was talking about when I said, oh, it's mostly like you test stuff, and then if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Right now, I'm not a huge fan of what's happening right now. Nah, I was overkill. This, what's that? Garbage. Place that. Okay. And the last part, we want that to go like that. It actually doesn't look bad. I like it. I like it, chat. So if we're doing like the easy mode, is just like I could make this. If you're making this to be, I don't know, one of your labels, what you can do is add a separation. For example, here I could put like, okay, I clicked on the wrong thing. I could put like cheers. So I can put like a bits, and then here I would have my top cheerer or something like that. Or you can put your Twitter here. Actually, we're gonna let's say it's Twitter. But now we can leave this here like that. And you have this like that. You're gonna turn off the background. Center this all. There's a step that I forgot, chat. Completely forgot about a quite important step, actually. Is you see this, the gray area? People can put their webcam on top of it and then crop it to fit, right? But what I like to do in my overlays to make it extra easy is to get rid of it. Well, it looks like garbage, but get rid of it, select it, and basically make it a transparent, so that people can put the overlay on top of their camera. So there's less detailing needed when you're cropping it. This is what we're gonna do right now. We're just gonna select our what is what right now. Oh, okay, and we're gonna create a mask out of it. We're gonna press Control I, like I showed you before. Okay, now the problem is that we have all of those things that already have that are in the background. We don't want that. We want the background to be clean, because that is exactly where our webcam is going to be. So we're just gonna duplicate the mask to everything there, without even caring about what is what. And boom, now we have a clean slate for the camera to go. We can just slap this onto the camera. Do we have a laptop or a computer? I'm on a desktop right now. Sets of screens, sets of scenes. How do you type the panels every time or template it? Yeah, you're gonna have to watch this VOD back again because I showed how to do it. We already have let me show you what we have completed already. We have this. So basically it's just I usually save as and then I modify whatever the text. That's all you have to do. So you don't have to recreate it again. You just have to save as, so it creates a duplicate of your project file and then change the text. Technically, you don't even have to click save as. Technically, you could just modify the text, save as a PNG, modify the text, save as a PNG, and then you have the exact same thing. This is what I do when I'm doing free overlays, by the way. When I do stuff like the JOSCOS overlay, it's completely different because those are paid overlays, and I absolutely do not want the same thing on every screen. So there is like elements that stay, like the honeycomb pattern, the slit at the middle, but then you get different images. But that is from the JOSCOS. The JOSCOS overlay, of course, is animated. So I usually like bring this into After Effects and just animate them. And then create like a perfectly looped animation so that I can loop it in Streamlabs OBS. Anyways, let's go back to what we were doing. We're on the webcam. So, okay, now this is the part where we just have to crop it. Make sure that you don't crop out parts. Like if you do stuff like, what's it called? Drop shadows. Drop shadows are something that I've accidentally cropped in the past. So watch out for those. And now I'm going to Control Shift S and save this as a PNG. I haven't saved the PSD file yet, so I'm kind of scared. So camera overlay. Boom. Okay, so now I'm going to press Control Alt Z because I don't want to delete everything. Oh, I went a little too far. There you go. Why? Because I actually want to use this as my Streamlabs bar. I'm going to do that right now. I know that this and that are my Streamlabs bar. I usually do them in the same file because they're less of a hassle to modify, and I can just crop and export, you know. So I'm going to group up all the rest so I don't accidentally click or move them. And now I have this thing right here that I could just place here. The pink part is a little too wide, so I'm going to bring that down a little bit. But now the cool thing is you can use this in two different ways once you have it, right? You can type new follower, new sub, and all of that. Or you can just add the icon. Just something that I like to do. Or you can do both. Just like in the JOSCOS pack. Well, I can't really show you, but in the JOSCOS pack, I added a choice between icons, the words, and like completely blank. So basically for follow, you would put a heart because that's the icon for following on Twitch. For subbing, you would put a star because that used to be the, well, that is still the default sub badge is a star. For bits, you put the bits icon, some sort of diamond. And for money, you put like a $sign, right? So here, all you have to do now is literally just duplicate. Whoops, I did not duplicate. You're going to hold Alt to actually duplicate this. And you can take a look at the percentage if you want it to be precise. And that's it. You already have your low bar. That was fast. It was that easy. So I'm actually gonna show you how you can do like alternatives. So I'm gonna go ahead and export this. Press enter. PNG. I need to save the PSD. Wait, no, that's not panels. Enter. Low bar 1. How much is Photoshop? I think it's a subscription based thing. I think it's like $10 per month. It's literally cheaper than Netflix. So if you have Netflix, cancel Netflix. I'm kidding. Use your tips yesterday. Use this day to make a new offline screen logo and panels. That's dope. It's monthly, I think. Adobe would have the amount. I probably did it. Yeah, you can also use GIMP. Apparently, like this is something that I'm thinking. Do you guys think that would be a good idea for me to download GIMP, learn how to use it, and then make tutorials related to Twitch? Is that something you guys would want to see? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is alternate the colors. I want the bluish greenish thing to be where the names are going to be, and I want the pinkish to be like the little icon spot. So, and maybe I'm actually going to add some icons. So yeah, just select one of the colors. Press U. Is my shortcut not working? Okay, select this, and now all the remaining. Except for one, apparently. You just flip it. Boom. There is a weird optical illusion that makes those look shorter. But I know it's an optical illusion because like there's no way these can be shorter. It's weird. It's messing with my eyes. So watch out for the colors you use because sometimes you can have weird optical illusions. Low bar 2. There you go. So when it comes to the icons, something you need to know is you can either find your icons in Photoshop because like a heart, a star, and a dollar sign, you can just type the dollar sign. When it comes to the bits, I like using I have like my own stock thing with stock PNG files. See, like I have bits. I don't like using colors, so I'm basically gonna add a overlay, like a color overlay. The heck? Yeah, place this file. So we're gonna have follow, subs, bits, and donations. So bits need to go here. So if you're doing stuff like social media, it's gonna be the exact same thing. If you're wondering about the bottom, why didn't I crop the bottom? I actually really want to leave it there because I don't want it to stick to the bottom. But you can make it stick to the bottom if you're using Streamlabs OBS. Noxifa, hey, how's it going? Do Pixlr? Yeah, I can't learn every single free program in the planet, so I'm probably gonna stick to GIMP because apparently it's the closest to Photoshop. The goal is to be able to do whatever we want. I don't know much about Pixlr, but I don't know if you have everything that you can do with Photoshop with it. And then yes, I have more of these. You can just drag and drop. Those are PNG files you get off Google, honestly. You type heart shape PNG, and then you save them. I can just drag and drop the color overlay. Boom, it's white. That looks like a sim. That would be a cool overlay for like the Sims, because I think they have that greenish, pinkish. It's not the same green, but still. I have GIMP. It's just confusing. Oh, but you managed to use Pixlr. However the heck you pronounce this. Use this star. I always forget that this star is not the background is not transparent. If you go to custom shape tool, you can find shapes within Photoshop. I'm just eyeballing the rest, honestly. And then for the dollar sign, you can either get one or I don't think I have one. Yeah, no, I don't. Or just type one. Press T to bring up your type tool and then press the dollar sign. Now, of course, you're going to have to pick a font where it's visible. Big Noodle thing is not good for that. Let's go with good old Arial. Actually, Arial is not good either. Bus new. Feel free to stretch those because it's so small. Like it's not gonna look weird if you. Kind of stretch it. You can change the size here, but I really like using the free transform tool. It gives me more freedom. Fun fact is we're gonna have to change all that. Okay, that looks good. Let's save it again. I still haven't saved the PSD chat. Let's call it low bar 3. Actually, let's call it low bar 2 1. Time to change the colors again. We go again. Okay. The thing is, I completely lost the camera overlay. I just realized that. By cropping and making so many modifications, I don't have access to my camera overlay anymore. So I probably won't even save this. So yeah, everyone makes mistakes. But to be fair, I usually don't work on them separately. So I completely lost the camera overlay. It's just as a PNG and I can't modify it. We're gonna save the PSD file now. And we're just gonna call it low bar because that's all it is now. Camera overlay is by. Can I get some F in chat for camera overlay? Okay, let me read chat for a couple minutes. I use Pixlr, but I learned Photoshop. I regret it because it comes out a bit better, but still so much more to work and way more complicated. Okay. It's one of those things. It takes a bit, but yeah, I've been using Photoshop for like 10 years. So I looked on YouTube tutorial for GIMP and the videos are all the old GIMP. Oh, that's good to know. Cause like if I do, maybe I'll get more views. Could I give you suggestions? Hope you won't think it's a bad thing. Why don't you think about making some vlogs or gameplays, but edited gameplays, not walkthroughs? Well, I don't do walkthroughs anyways. Because I see so much potential like in that area for you. It's not the reason why I started this channel doing it, but I can't talk too much about it, so I'm gonna be brief. I started by doing gameplay on this channel, and indeed I also see potential in me. The thing is, gaming is such a wide it's such widespread now that it's hard to make it as a gamer, like as a gaming channel that is just starting, right? Like if I made, for example, Vanos Gaming, if I made the exact same content that he makes and I upload it to my channel right now, I will not get views. Probably like I will not get views at all. So I would have to grind a little too much, and I have this problem where I don't feel productive if I'm just gaming and just uploading gaming. So that's why. So on top of all of that, what we did is also, oops, freaking hell. So we just did all of that. In 1 hour and 50 minutes. So technically, guys, if you really wanted to, well, if you were, of course, that at ease with Photoshop, every 1 hour and 15 minutes, you could make a complete overlay pack, right? If you want to be a graphic designer, that's also the case. You could make a complete overlay pack every 1 hour and 50, every 2 hours. Let's round it up to 2 hours. Anyways, I want to put my camera back. I probably look super tired. I am super tired. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're watching this in the future and you would like to ask any questions about what we've done today, please feel free to put them in the comment section. If you guys are in chat right now and you have questions, now is the right time because we're about to quit the live streaming. I really hope you guys like this format, and if you want to see more stuff like that in the future, more live stream tutorials in a way, so I can go in depth into whatever subject that I know of. The thing that I said about GIMP, I might start doing that. I might actually download GIMP, start learning it, and then do tutorials on it, so you guys can know how to do all of this in a free program. So let me read chat for a second, and then we will stop. Yes, but you have a small community now. You might stream on Twitch and make complicated stuff after the stream, and make also vlogs. I meant, oh, okay, that's what you mean when you say vlogs and all that. Okay. Surprised you don't use Illustrator or things like this. I hate Illustrator. How's it going, Mighty Flux? I completely hate Illustrator. To me, Illustrator is for me, like, it's not my type of program, because you don't have enough freedom to me. And everything is just so intricate, and you have to move points. And like, no, if I want a square, just give me a square. Why are you making me move specific parts of the square? If I want my square to be rotated, I'll just rotate my square. If I want to paint over my square, I'll just rasterize it and paint over it. To me, Illustrator is just complicated for nothing, unless you really want to use the vector. Unless you really want to use vectors. Like when I was working for companies, I was also using Illustrator. Anyways, will it be on Gumroad? If it is, I'll buy it. Well, you won't be able to buy it because it will. Well, actually, you will be able to buy it, but it will be free. I'm gonna put it all on Gumroad for free. What I'm gonna do for the starting soon screen, be right back, intermission, and all that. Well, there's no intermission. Ending screen, ending stream. I will change the background because the background is the same and it says starting soon blurry at the back. So I'm going to change that, and then I will upload it on gumroad.com/GadLevel. But, oh, by complications, you mean compilations? Yeah. Like I might do that for 2019. Honestly, Nuxifa, that's something that I'm counting on doing. I will continue doing this channel, but I will upload more. For example, of my clips compilations. Now that I have a small community, I know I don't get views on those. You know, I know I'm getting 200 views max, but it's I know that those 200 people really enjoy watching them, so I'm gonna continue doing that. My goal for 2019 is to get partnered on Twitch, so and keep my YouTube and keep growing on YouTube. So what I'm gonna do right now, guys, since this is a live stream, I'm gonna go on Twitch and I'm gonna find someone that we can bring a little bit of love to. So we're gonna raid someone, if you will, just a way to like contribute to the community and maybe like pass it forward. You know, if there's a couple of you here and you guys want to watch some content and maybe make someone's day, stay in chat and we'll bring a couple of people over there. I just need to find who is live. Zombie Love, actually, since you just watched something that is that has to do with art, I will go there. I have 500 subs and make 200 views per vid, so I believe in you, bro. Thank you, I appreciate that. So right now, guys, I want you all to go into a specific channel. I'm gonna put the link inside of the chat. I don't even know. Oh, wow. And then she's leaving.
Joke, guys. This is a really funny joke.
What's happening?
It's not a real TK raid.
Oh, she has oh, that's so cool. Anyways, I'm gonna I'm sorry, guys. That was I'm being It'll be big. I'll definitely look into that. It's kind of part of my plan. So the link that I'm putting in chat right now, guys, I really want you to go and spam some love. She is currently taking a break, but that's fine. When she comes back, we will greet her with a lot of love. But thank you so much, Kelvin R. Sorry, you coming at the end of the stream, but we're going there. See that link in chat? We're going there. You can talk to me over there, guys. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching once again. And we're going to stop the stream right before 2 hours, which is perfect. That means that before 2 hours, you can make a full overlay pack. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Go to gumroad.com. This pack will be available probably tomorrow. I will see you guys next time. Gael level out. I want you to wave out your screen. Wave at your screen. Wave. Are you waving? You better be waving.